Welcome to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan.
Now, I find this funny, Sharan.
Okay.
In our pursuit to becoming healthy as we are getting older, now you have gone beyond healthy, right? So there seems to be and I read this first in your LinkedIn post
Right.
that not only are you showing your thumb to rest of the world that is trying to be healthy, but you're also releasing your own report on beyond healthy.
That's the only way you can take on all these health freaks around me, right?
Correct. And the second thing that I find funny is that not only have you decided to produce some evidence to make some to whatever outlandish claims you make, you've also decided to take ownership of the evidence. So if nobody else says what you want to say, you have created a report of your own.
That's what most companies do, right? Create a report that with whatever they want to say,
According to our research.
according to our research. But I'll tell you
So
why.
tell us, what is this about?
Sorry.
Tell us, how did this come around? What is this about?
Okay, so this happened by completely happenstance because the last few months we at Vitral have had the chance to work on different snacking brands completely coincidentally. From ice creams to instant noodles to namkeen to biscuits. We've been working on these categories the last few months. And
Okay.
we invariably meet consumers in their homes, talking to them, figuring out who's the purchase decision maker, what they decide on. And surprisingly, health was not a factor in what they mentioned at all. And every client kept bringing that up to us, saying, wanting to take the health positioning. And you see so many startups, and especially on LinkedIn, there's so many people talking about healthy snacking. And everybody's got researchers to show that healthy snacking is the way to go. But consumers are just not talking about it. And we're not talking about one or two, right? We met about over 250 consumers in their homes, in person, and talking to them about not just one category, but their snacking habit in general. And we covered the entire spectrum of the Hindi speaking market. And health really didn't come up at all. So we had
Okay.
to probe and figure out what they said. And that's what we thought would make better sense now that we've done this wider research. It's qualitative, not quantitative. We thought we'll put it together and present it to the wider audience to say what consumers are actually saying about health and snacking going together.
Oh, that's why it's called Beyond Healthy.
Yes, snacking
Okay.
beyond healthy. And
Okay,
I might warn you, I will warn you, this will make a few founders very uncomfortable. And that's a good thing.
Okay. Let's get ready for it then. I find this. So you're right. There's quite a lot of buzz around healthy snacking and health in general. So tell us, what are the key things that you found? What really led to this? This is supposedly a big trend. You see it all the time on Shark Tank as well.
Yes.
A lot of healthy snacking brands coming in. What leads you on this path, which makes all these founders uncomfortable?
So when we're presenting to one of our clients, one of very seasoned board members said, shouldn't we be launching healthy bhujia? That really got me tickled up. I was like, what are you talking about? The board members are talking in echo chambers. They're saying, we want healthy this, healthy that. But consumers don't really seem to care. I'm not saying they don't want health. I'm just saying in snacking, when they're going for a snack, health is not what they're seeking. They have other ways to figure out their health requirements. Snack is by nature an indulgence, and that is primarily what they're seeking when they go in for a snack. And health is not the primary driver. And even if you look at data, right, there's so many healthy snacking brands launching. But where is the bulk of the market still sitting? 99% of the market, not even 95, 99% of the market business is still in your core biscuits, bhujia, ice cream, noodles is where it's happening. It's not in this healthy sector. It's great to talk about on LinkedIn. It's great on Shark Tank. I get it. But the market is very different to what they're saying, what's being talked about.
Okay. Tell me purely from a data point. While the healthy snacking market is very small, like you said, 99% versus 1%, do you reckon that it will be growing significantly as
It will
compared to
be.
the regular 99?
It will be because it's a newer category. It's as good as saying Bihar is the fastest growing state in the country, right? The base is so small.
Hmm.
So there are 5 factors that we found out influence this healthy snacking or snacking purchase decision makers.
Okay.
Taste, satiety, price, convenience, and then health,
Okay.
in that
That's
order.
slightly okay. So you start with
Taste
taste,
first.
is it? Okay.
Taste, satiety, price, convenience, health.
And health.
That's how they're
Hmm.
ranking it. And health, not even most people aren't even bringing about it. In fact,
Okay.
health is almost a post facto reasoning saying, okay, this is why I chose it. But they don't
Mhm.
really choose it for healthy reasons. They choose it saying, okay, it also has health. And each one's got completely different understanding of health.
So the ranking that you spoke about seems quite surprising. In
Mhm.
fact, what's most surprising is that health came in last,
Yes.
right? Now, with the sign of times and whatever we've been hearing, healthy seems to be the trend in almost every category that we are, talking about, especially in foods and beverages and snacking. We've seen how the world moved from juices to water,
Right.
from cola to juices, then to flavored water, etc. So, what is health? What is healthy according to you then?
Okay, it's not according to me. There's been research since, and
Okay.
you're not wrong, right? Even when we were in Mondelez and Cadbury, there's been research since the 1960s saying people are looking for a healthy snack.
Hmm.
Can you name one healthy snack brand that has managed to scale in the world by staying a healthy snack brand?
I know I can only think of not really scale. The biggest ones that I can think of possibly will be granola bars.
Yeah, which one?
Right bite, something.
Right Bite Yoga Bar have stayed clean all through. I get it. But
Yeah.
even if you look at their benefit, their maximum benefit that they've had is when they've been acquired.
Hmm.
And their business, my prediction is that their business is growing now because they've expanded beyond snack into meals and supplements. That is where they're going to get the bulk of the business fueled by the distribution power of the parent company that's acquired them. There is even Nature Valley, right, which is the father of granola bars,
Yeah.
has had to resort to soft bakes
Hmm.
in order to stay relevant. So they've gone into the healthier for you because they
Hmm.
just couldn't find scale in the healthy space.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
consumers say one thing in surveys. They say, we want a healthy snack. But they say that because they want to say that. They're not lying. They do believe it when they're saying it. But when it comes down to actually making the purchase, health is completely out the window. Even in the ranking I gave you, health is there only because we asked for it. It did not come out spontaneously for most consumers.
Okay.
And they, in surveys, they say, I read labels, I want healthier snacks. When you go there, they're not reading labels. They're making health choices and snacks sometimes, but they're not coming on the back of labels at all. They buy
Okay.
what the family enjoys, they buy what is familiar, and they don't necessarily behave the way research reports are saying. And that is exactly why we went into homes and sat in the kitchens and spoke to them sitting in their living rooms, looking at what they're doing and how they're making the choices.
Okay. Fair. Fair. That's quite interesting. In fact, a weekend back, I
Mm.
took my kids to attend this session organized by The Whole Truth about label reading
Ah,
for kids. How to read label and what are the things that you must avoid, etc.
it's great as a learning experience,
Yeah.
but is that a sustainable snacking occasion? Yet to be
Possibly
seen.
not. Yeah.
From
Yeah.
what I've seen in the hinterland, that's not how
Not
they're
at all.
thinking about it.
Okay. Okay. So now tell me, I heard you say that obviously consumer is possibly saying I want healthy snacks, but in practice they're not following it. Yet, we all know that the woman of the house, makes some kind of judicious calls to provide healthy things to people, and your digestive biscuits, etc., have found ways to enter into Indian households because they convince the lady that they're better for you. So what does your research say about that? How's she managing if she's not reading labels?
So there is a term that we coined, actually not me, it is Mahesh who coined this, because it is the woman in the house that makes these purchase decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to call her the mother or the housewife or the homemaker, because the mother means she's focusing on the kid.
Yeah.
Housewife means she's focusing on the husband. The homemaker almost equates to housewife, while homemaker could be the closest term what we're looking for. What we noticed is that this role could be played by pretty much anybody in the family. Sometimes it is the mother-in-law. Sometimes it's the oldest daughter-in-law in the family. Sometimes it's the daughter who's come back to live with her parents. Sometimes it's the unmarried daughter who is pretty much taking care of the house when everybody else is busy. So we coined the term lady of the house, LOTH, as being the chief food officer in the household. So they are in charge of all grocery purchases and the food. She basically controls what enters the house. So she manages the budget. She takes care of everybody's taste preferences. She does look at guilt and nutrition, but it comes down. So there's a demarcation that she makes. I will supply any health I need to in the food that I serve them. But the snack is a permissible indulgence. That is not where she prioritizes health. If something offers health, great. It's a like I said, it's a post-purchase justification than a primary driver. But if there are seniors who got health issues, then I look for something that will benefit them.
Okay.
Now, she looks at, she doesn't exactly reject snacks because they are indulgent or they're unhealthy or they don't have claims. She manages it. What she does is she uses portion control. She buys smaller packs. If when kids are at home, I give them one pack, they will finish it. I'd rather give them smaller packs. And she says, if I'm giving you something unhealthy, I'll give you something healthy with it. So if I'm giving you instant noodles like Maggi, I will add vegetables to it so that to make it healthy. I'm not sure it does, but in her mind, that's how she kind of balances it out in her mind. So health is not necessarily for elimination. It is something of a management that she does, even if it comes down to health in the snacking space. So the quote I would say is that this lady in Bareilly told us, snacks aren't medicine.
Nice.
These snacks make you human and there's a permission to indulge. So let it be now. What's the big deal?
Interesting. Well said, actually. So what you're saying is that she's managing health by looking at various factors like portion, accompaniments,
Right.
Right? And she's making these choices by looking at the person she's managing for.
Yes.
Kids, old age, etc., etc. And that's how interesting. Okay. And now there will be, so while she makes those choices, right? Now there are plethora of snacks available.
Yes.
How does she choose between snacks?
She chooses primarily on familiarity and to an extent retailer recommendation, but she judges them pretty well. So any new pack she buys a smaller pack as a trial before she moves to the large pack. But how does she judge if it's healthy or unhealthy? If it's namkeen, if there's any oil residue that's sitting in her hand when she has it, that is a sign of unhealthiness. It is not palm oil being written on the pack. It is the oil residue in her hand which makes it seem unhealthy for her. So one more thing we noticed is that she has this first bite ritual, which is that whenever she buys something new for anybody in the house, even if she doesn't like it or she thinks she will not like it, she will still taste it to know what they're going for or whether they will like it or not. This is what our mothers used to do also, right? Growing up, they will take a piece to check if it's fine. She does this, the LOTH does it for everybody in the family. So when she tastes it, if she gets any sense of artificialness or she gets a sharp aftertaste, that product is rejected. So she's not looking necessarily for, say, healthy. When I say healthy, right, it's not looking for protein content or anything, nutrition, diet, shivdas. That's not what she's looking for. Looking for the crunchy bite because that's what they want, right? It's more like saying, I deserve this. It's a moment of indulgence. And she treats it like that. And she does not read labels. the smell becomes important. So there are some snacks which you store at home. After a period, they get a smell. The smell changes. It doesn't have to be bad smell. When the smell changes, it's rejected. So it's basically your sensories. When it's like buying your vegetables, right? That's the behavior that comes through. You touch, feel, taste, smell, and you buy. That's the habit that still continues even for buying snacks and
Interesting.
evaluating.
Interesting. So snacks are also being judged on sensorials, and that's how she is making the judgment whether they are healthy or unhealthy,
Absolutely.
and whether she would like to recommend them, etc., or not. And second thing you said is familiarity, so consistency of experience, etc., etc.
Yep.
Interesting. I remember when Kraft bought Mondelez, Kraft bought Cadbury from purely chocolates. We went into the snacking reframe.
Right.
Right. And so therefore there was a lot of conversation around snacks and where does chocolate fit in there and what are the other things that we can do, etc., etc. For one of the projects that I was working on, when I met mothers and we were trying to make something that they would give to their kids in their tiffin boxes. So specifically in Mumbai, we had this garam nashta, thanda nashta,
Right.
sukha nashta, gila nashta sort of a concept. Right. So they talk about they want to give something thanda nashta very early in the morning, but some garam nashta, something before people go to office or before they go to school, etc., etc. Does that work with snacking too?
To an extent, yes. Because while talking about food, in snacking, it kind of comes down to when they buy sweets. It's in a different context, but the garam, gila, sukha kind of plays a role as far as sweets are concerned. Let's say the gila sweets are better made at home. The sukha sweets are better bought from the store. And the thanda is always best bought. Even kulfi, some houses claim to be making it. But most of them say it doesn't ever taste as good as the one that we buy outside. So that is how they classify it. But storage of a gila mithai is something that's seen as a no-no. If it is bought, it should be consumed immediately. That's why you see a lot of the sweet brands launching the sukha sweet boxes, which is your kaju katli and stuff. But your rasagullas, your gulab jamun package, they don't have as many takers. That is where we saw that. So they are also heavy, higher priced, a different point. But this sukha gila does have a role, and that goes into freshness perspective in people's minds.
Okay. And Sharon, also tell me, I remember a large part of the snacking portfolio at that point in time was dominated by traditional snacks.
Yes.
So does your report talk about that? Where do
Yes, it
they
does.
come in?
So there are two aspects, right? So if you look at data per se, in your branded snacks, tradition and ethnic aren't too very far apart. But obviously, the unbranded ethnic snacks play a far bigger role than the Western snacks. Now, the traditional snacks actually are considered healthier than the Western snacks because of familiarity. Anything that can be made at home, said, okay, this is familiar food. So it's considered healthy. So your bhujia, your chakli, they get a complete free pass because they're familiar. You know, another thing, what industry classifies as Western snacks, your potato chips or your wafers, as some people call them, is considered a local snack. Lays could be foreign, but potato chips is desi. It's the familiarity. It's not just about ethnicity, it's the familiarity that breeds favoritism here. However, anything Western, so Kurkure brand is perceived to be Indian, but the extruded snacks are considered unhealthy because that's not something I can make at home. And
Interesting.
it's not necessarily technically accurate, but it's how they react to it. So when you ask them, so isn't namkeen bhujia deep fried bad for you? It's made with besan, and we've been having it for generations. How can that be bad? So wouldn't it be bad if you have so much of it? Yeah, if you have so much of anything, only it's bad. Why only blame bhujia for it? The other thing was the villain of maida. They have this notion that maida is bad, but every household event, even when I was researching on kulfi, had an instant noodles packet in the house.
Mm.
And nobody associated any of the evils of maida. So the evils that they say are it spoils digestion, it causes bloating. These are the two
Yeah.
things they say. There's not too much more awareness about why maida is bad. But when it comes to biscuits, which is completely maida, they have no problem. Biscuits actually have a healthy proposition in people's minds.
Yeah. That's because they're not maida, they are refined flour
And they're baked.
and they're baked and not fried.
So biscuits are perceived to be healthy.
Yeah.
As a category because they've got butter and they've got, even if they don't have butter, it's got dairy, got nuts, cashews. So biscuits are considered healthy, but maida is bad. So where do you avoid maida? Wherever possible, which is basically your maida roti, naan is where the only place where they tend to avoid or they claim to avoid, because I never saw them ordering naan or kulchas in a restaurant. But at home, there doesn't seem to be too much of a restriction on instant noodles or biscuits.
Okay. So understood maida. And from the time we grew up, we heard about maida being one of the villain as well. The other villain, which is slowly but steadily emerging, is sugar. What did you hear about that?
So we checked for it. Sugar is not seen as, what do you say, a villain at all by consumers we spoke to. One, because sugar is not something they consume every day, as it specifically. And sugar is seen more as a celebratory indulgence. The kids will have sugar, it's fine. So anything that they have had growing up as indulgence is okay for the kids. And sugar comes into a point where sugar is avoided only when there is a senior at home who's diabetic, and it's only avoided for them. Otherwise, sugar is not really a big deal because they're not large consumers of sugar per se on an everyday basis.
Okay. Or so they believe. Okay. Biscuits, cola, sauce, all of these contain copious amount of sugar as well as salt.
Absolutely, they do.
Okay. Fair. So now that you've thoroughly confused our founders who were gung-ho about healthy snacking, so there is very little healthy and a lot more snacking that's happening. Now tell me, purely from the people who are listening to this podcast, what's the implications for people who are working on some of these snack brands?
If you are a snacking brand, primarily, the first rule is do not lead with health. Lead with taste. And if health is important, give the control of health to the consumer. Give a pack size, give a portion control. Enable pairing, say what it tastes great with, what it doesn't taste great with, and build consumption rituals. Own the snacking occasion, because be it biscuits in the morning, biscuits in the evening, or in Rajasthan, we saw namkeen occupy like 6 different consumption occasions during the day. And in UP, we saw namkeen occupy one consumption occasion, but in variety, like I was mentioning. So owning a certain snacking ritual cues behavior, and that can build offtake for you.
Okay.
The other is be consistent. So they have one chance. They believe brands are better and cleaner. They still trust brands. They say, especially since COVID, a lot of migration happened to branded snacking.
Yeah.
But if one batch is bad, they chunk the brand forever. They don't give it a second chance. And the other thing is not just with this report, but with founders in general, is that there is a lot of conversation about CAC, customer acquisition cost. In FMCG, we've said this multiple times on the call, that you don't acquire a customer in FMCG. You hope to be a part of her repertoire. So you only have to try. You will never be the only snack that the household consumes.
Yeah.
You got to find a place to be in her repertoire one way or the other. I'll give you a small anecdote here. This was in Benares. We were talking to this lady who was a ardent Haldiram's consumer. And she's the lady of the house, buying for the entire joint family. She says, Haldiram's is Haldiram's. Nothing comes close to Haldiram's. And have you tried Bikano? Have you tried Bikaji? Have you tried Morano? Nothing. No. I've heard of those brands, but nothing comes close to Haldiram's. So then we did a kitchen audit. Can you show me what snacks you have? She didn't have a single Haldiram's packet in the house.
Okay. Then?
She had Bicano, Rajbhog, and Morano.
Wow. Okay.
No,
More
Haldiram just got
imagery.
over. This is what she said us. But the thing
Okay.
is, that's a repertoire. And even if mental availability is so much for Haldiram's, but I asked her, how did you buy this packet? How did you buy this packet? Retailer recommended. So they asked me to try a small pack. My kid wanted a specific mixture, which I got from the store. They sent a random brand. So those kind of things is how a brand enters. So you've got to have the entire value chain in equation to be part of the repertoire. There is not
Okay.
just one way to get into the consumer's household.
Yeah.
So the quote I would say is, don't make snacks healthier. If you must, make health snackable.
Nice. Health
And-
snackable.
And
Okay.
the other one is we always try to change the consumer. For some reason, we believe as marketers, we have the right to change consumer behavior.
Mm.
But in a category as us, as snacking, I think you're better off supporting her decision, supporting her behavior than trying to change her existing behavior. Because she's deciding for the entire family. So
Yeah.
you're better off supporting it and going along with what she's currently doing because there are enough opportunities there and claims don't work. Designed for comfort. And I will leave you with one line though on this. As long as you build a healthy snack, you will be met with equally oxymoronic limited success.
Healthy snack is equal to limited success, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
both oxymorons, right?
Remind me to tag Puru Gupta and Shashank Mehta on this post. Let's see what both of them have to say to
Shashank
you.
Mehta, yes. Puru, no. Puru is not necessarily into snacking.
Okay,
Shashank
true
Mehta is.
elements. Yeah.
Yeah. Shashank Mehta is
Yeah.
more into snacking. Right? So there's a difference. So when I tell people healthy food is different from healthy snacking, the snacking is not the occasion where people are seeking health. And I will drop another caveat. Healthy snack. So saying snacks don't have to be healthy does not mean snacks must be full of harmful ingredients. No harmful food coloring is not permissible. You can't put things that make people hungry. No. Harmful ingredients are very different from saying snacks don't have to be healthy.
Healthy. Okay.
Those are two different points. Very important to make the difference.
Fair. No, I think this is good. And in fact, when you were describing all of this, it reminded me of the time when we had just entered marketing in Cadbury. And one of our seniors, 2 year seniors to us, was working on this brand called Cadbury Delight. No, not Delight.
Light. Dairy Milk Light.
Dairy Milk Light. Delight was
Yes.
a chocolate powder.
Yeah.
So Dairy Milk Light, right? Possibly lesser sugar version that was meant for diabetics, etc.
Yep.
And somehow I think it didn't work at all. Had to be
It
pulled
didn't.
out.
Why go that far? I think last year or the year before that, at Cadbury, there was a 5-star Fuse launched a healthy granola bar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I never got to know about it. Okay.
It's there. Or it's just called Fuse, not 5-star. Fuse granola bar by Cadbury.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I think it's a hilarious mistake.
Okay. Now I have no clue about it. I never heard about it. So fair. So I think there are sufficient examples where brands have tried to get into healthy space and have not found success. But okay, I think this is an interesting one. I was skeptical when we started this chat.
Aren't
But I
you
believe-
skeptical about everything I have to start with on the show?
But after whatever you've said, there are quite a few practical observations that you guys have made within consumer households. And I think I like some of the lines and some of the rules that you've spoken about, that snacks are supposed to be indulgent and therefore lead with taste, give control to the what you call as LOTH, lady of the house, by providing smaller portion sizes, maybe allowing them to pair it with something healthy, right? Try to fit into a ritual and into her repertoire, because she is going to consume, and she has so many different audiences within home. Many occasions she is going to consume a repertoire completely. She leads by familiarity also, and hence be consistent. don't do funny things between batches. And so therefore you arrived at a conclusion saying don't make snacks healthy, but make health snackable.
Yep.
Right? Don't try to change the consumer, support their decisions for a change. And, because it is supposed to be indulgent, so they designed for taste, designed for comfort, right? And that's how you are keeping consumer at the center of it. And lastly, we spoke about oxymorons. A healthy snack is equal to limited success. Yeah, this is a what I should say, an possibly practical but slightly more radical claim that Sharan has made. Let's see what some of our founders have to say when they listen to this podcast. But this is an interesting one, Sharan. If our listeners want to access this report, even I would want to read it.
Right.
Where do we find this report?
Let's drop a link in the show notes, and that should be available across YouTube and every platform.
Oh, okay, excellent.
The episode is on. They should be able to access the report there.
Lovely. So this is great. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to some of the key highlights of the report. I look forward to read it and possibly grill you again on some of the contents that you've
And
written
rip it
there.
apart.
Not rip it apart, just grill you.
Thank you for listening to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan. Subscribe and learn more at cobcast.net.